Hello everybody and welcome to another skill ranking list video as Bryn and I, the skill masters, because we are one with the skill cards. We're ranking the rogue skills today and there's actually a good chunk of them.
Yeah, there's a lot more than I thought, which is like, the bottom part's going to be real easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of play style. It's like rogues, right? Like rogues have a lot of that thing where the cards work differently in different places, right? Like their power level goes up in certain investigators over others, or with certain deck builds, they're a lot less obvious than deduction, get more clue.
Yeah, just is good.
Yeah. So this should be a fun one, but why don't we dive in because we got a lot of cards to talk about. Our lowest rated skill at 19th place is Opportunist 0. This is an innate skill, commits for a wild. Commit only to a skill test you're performing. If you succeed by 3 or more, return Opportunist to your hand after this test instead of discarding it.
Yeah, this one gets to live down at the bottom here because in order to succeed by the 3 reliably that it asks you to, you have to commit another card anyway, so like, why am I committing this one? I don't need it. Kind of just like it all.
Yeah.
It's really good in Winifred, but that's like the only place this card has like any use at all.
Yeah, I play it in Silas if I'm planning on getting the upgraded ones.
So you don't forget?
Just because it's like nice and easy. And also like it's one of those things where just like, it's a wild, so if I ever need to get my Elder Sign, I can get it back. But like those are the only 2 use cases for Opportunity 0. And I actually like don't even like talking about it.
It's not very good.
It's not very good. Why don't we just keep going? Because this card makes me sick. Let's go to another card that has a use, but it's also outclassed in that use. We got Calculated Risk. This is a Gambit and Fated skill. Max 1 committed per skill test. Commit only to a test you're performing of any type, and only if it is your turn. Calculated Risk gains a wild icon for each action you perform this turn, including this one, and after this test ends, end your turn. Before we talk about the card, I'm pretty sure this is Duke's doing, the new designer, adding reminder text on cards in the form
including this one.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's my favorite thing because it just like makes it so.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask a question. You're like, hey, is it also including this one? Yes, it is. But this card helps you with Frozen in Fear.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Like if you are planning on building into a, fated deck where you're trying to take as many actions in a turn as you can, sure, this card's not a terrible payoff. It's like pretty okay. It also is level 0. Like outside of those uses, like the getting rid of a thing that asks you to test at the end of your turn, or playing this deck, it's not really that great. You could just play Unexpected Courage. It'd probably be better. Because you don't have to end your turn.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like the downside of this card.
Yeah.
It's, for me, when I look at this card, I say you're here to get upgraded into Savant, which
Probably
gets higher on this. Because for me, they have like a similar spot, at least like protection.
Unless you are playing like a weird deck where maybe you're trying to take as many actions.
No, then it seems sweet, and you can just go nuts on the last
one.
An
old shotgun or whatever, or not an old shotgun.
No, that's the
sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, that does seem, and you get
there's like homes for this, but it's real weird.
Yeah, no, that does seem kind of sick too. Like get like some quick thinking, some hastes in there.
Yeah,
go nuts. Yeah, that does seem fun. But that's like Rogue, right? Like that's why I think
Rogue has a lot of weird build around decks.
Yeah.
And a lot of cards that are not good outside of those decks.
On to number 17, we got Daredevil 0. This is commits for a wild. It's a fortune and practice skill. After commit Daredevil to skill test, discard cards on top of your deck until you discard a rogue skill you can commit to this test. Commit it and shuffle each weakness that was discarded by this effect back into your deck. With the taboo list, the most recent ruling as of this video, you draw the weaknesses instead, which I think is stronger, but I still think that...
Still not great.
Still not great.
Yeah. Depends like what you're trying to hit with this, I suppose. But if you're trying to hit something specific, then that's really tough because you're probably going to have to go real far into your deck and draw weaknesses.
Yeah.
Which is not a great place to be. Even just going far into your deck and playing as written, going far into your deck and having to shuffle them back, this is also bad.
Yes.
So
I like it in Finn. Because Finn will play a lot of skills that, he wants to play in green. And also you can maybe actually get rid of your weakness.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, nice.
Yeah.
but it's not like
It's good
super.
in Winifred, I guess.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think Winifred is also
green,
really good.
A lot of green skills. It's just like, well, what does this do? It's good in Winifred.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like yeah.
I guess that tracks.
Well, she's in the art and flavor text, so
that's
like,
how you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a fun card. Once again, it has that rogue thing where like, hey, it's fun, and it has its uses. But I think just on its own, you're not putting this into your deck unless you're doing something to grab a better skill. And I think that says more of like this better skills you're going to grab than of Daredevil.
Yeah, I think like it's just
if this card like if it practice makes perfect and put the skill card into your hand, now we're talking. That would be so sick. Yeah. But it doesn't, so
maybe
it lives
we'll
down
see
here.
a level 3 one of these days.
I'd play the hell out of that card. I would.
That'd be cool. Level 4, so Finn can't play it.
Yeah. No! Oh, poor Finn. On to number 16, we got Cunning. This is an innate skill, commits for a book and a foot. While you have 5 more resources, it gains book, foot. While you have 10 or more, it gains book, foot, foot.
Yeah, there's better things you can do with having 10 or more resources in your pool than just this.
Yep.
Though admittedly, if you're playing that deck, you might want to be playing this card too. Depends what you're trying to do. You can do anything with money. Money is good.
Yep. And also, like in a big money deck, if this is in your level 0 deck, like no one's going to like yell at you, right? They'll be like, I'll get it. You're looking for stuff that you're going to eventually upgrade into. It's like good, just like gain progress for the early bits. But I don't think it scales that well. And it also... If it had Brain, I think it'd be a lot more playable.
I mean, if you're playing some sort of weird big money Kaimani Jones deck,
oh, then
this
it's
card
nice,
could be hype where you're like, I'm going to test foot against this guy with 5 health. And we're just going to see if we can throw him away.
That does seem pretty sick.
So, I think like it's okay.
Yeah.
It provides an offense stat in foot, and that's like about as good as you can hope for in Rogue, really.
Yeah.
Except for the good ones. Where they don't do that at all.
They don't do that at all. Yeah. It also seems like I understand like why you'd play it in Preston, but it seems like it's like a great panic button in Preston, but like
if you're trying to actually pass tests in Preston,
it's doing a little bit weird.
Yeah,
you're doing it. You could, but there's better things to do.
It could be done.
All
I don't know why I looked over my shoulder to check. I can see him right here.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing. You saw you look, and I was like, "Yeah, is Russ still there?" Yeah, he's still sleeping in the timeout chair. You remember that callback from last video? All right, on to number 15. We got Hatchet Man. This is a practice skill, commits for a foot. If this skill test is successful during an evasion attempt, the next time the evaded enemy takes damage this turn, deal it 1 additional damage.
I just hate that Rita can't play this card.
Oh, it would be so nice.
That's like so awkward.
Yeah. I would love to see more, like with spirits. We saw in the Guardian video the spirit skill. I'd love to see, like, because this kind of seems like a trick. You know, you tricked the man. It was earlier on in... I think that, like, if this came out today, it would probably maybe be a trick.
Yeah, it might be.
Like, they might be more into the idea of putting traits all over the place. But only Forgotten Age was early.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it is cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
Just like the blue character who can play green cards really doesn't want this. And the green character who can play blue cards sucks. So...
I love, I think like this card obviously shines with the 25 automatic and dirty fighting as well. Like it's really nice for those things. I like playing it in Finn as well in my, with my Daredevil, you know, because, you know, if you're playing Daredevil and you're only hitting like one specific thing, you're doing it wrong. You got to like have multiple hits that might fucking whiff.
It's not a Daredevil otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, like, if you know what it's going to do.
Yeah. It's like doing a very bad impression of a vicious blow, but like when it shines, you're going to be really happy with Hatchet Man.
Yeah, but yeah, like when it works, it's really cool.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work, that's most of the time.
Yeah. This sounds like once again describing Rogue. When it works, and like you have to do a few steps to make it work, but when it does, and if it does, whoo!
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
When it's on, it's on.
Yeah. On to number 14, we got Skeptic. This is a 1 experience skill. It's practice. It commits for a wild, and during the skill test, treat the modifier of each bless and each curse token as +1 instead of its normal modifier.
Yeah. So like on the face of it, this is an even effect because it gives -1 to bless tokens and +3 curse tokens. Hold on a second. No, but it is like. the bless tokens being +1, it doesn't matter because you were probably already passing the test if you drew like a bless token, and you still probably are. And if you draw like curse tokens,
it's great.
This is amazing
because they count as curse tokens.
They count as curse tokens for anything that cares about them.
They get removed afterwards, and they're not negative.
And you pass the test.
Yeah,
so great.
This card I think is going to shoot up in value with Hemlock Veil. If you don't know, there's a card that was just spoiled. You can find it on the Arkham LCG Reddit is the easiest place to probably. I could also say in our Discord channel, but I'm not going to say that. But it's a mystic weapon that puts curse tokens in the bag while attacking as a cost.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, and I think just stuff like that is going to make Skeptic go up in value.
Yeah, I just enjoy the like you can commit this to somebody else's test. So you're playing with like Father Mateo, and he's like, oh, the Lord will provide, and you're like, no, he won't. And he's like,
fuck you, motherfucker. And I mean like worst case, it's also just a practiced. Practice skill for a wild.
Practiced on a wild, and like if somebody's playing curse tokens, even if it's not you, this might still be a good include in your deck because, as Travis can attest, not a whole lot of fun.
No,
the only one.
Yeah, it is. You have to. If other people are playing curse, you got to make sure you're running one of the covenants that counter it, or cards like this that can help you. It just is going to make it easier for you.
Ideally, they should be doing that.
As well, yeah.
Because
but they're not
they're ruining the game for you, but like they're not gonna.
They're not gonna. They're gonna use it on them because they have to protect their tests.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I also do like the idea of like roguing it up and doing like that big combo where you don't care about drawing curse tokens, but you're still playing like Favor of the Moon to like effectively just like pass tests really well.
Get money and
Seems like fun. The card's cool. Going to number 13, we got Copycat. This is a 3 experience Gambit skill. After you commit Copycat to a skill test, search the discard pile of another investigator for a skill you can commit to this test and commit it. After this test ends, place that card on the bottom of its owner's deck.
Yeah. So the gambit here is that your teammates will be playing skills that are worth committing to your tests.
Yeah.
Because if they are, then this card is sweet, and if they are not, then don't. Excuse me.
Played this one recently. I think it was my Finn deck that I played this in. And I would just grab honestly a Promise of Power, because Travis was playing them, was like my floor, and I'm like, that's great if I hit a Promise of Power. Because it doesn't.
Then it's 5.
It's 5. Deductions as well, if someone's playing deductions
or vicious blows.
Because this is not stuff that you're committing to. You can just basically get. You paid a lot of experience for it. That's why we also kind of put it in the middle, because it can kind of be good or bad depending on what it is.
And you don't get a say in whether it will be good or not.
Yeah.
So I would never bring this to play with people I hadn't talked about how we were going to try to play the game with.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because it probably doesn't do anything.
No. It also is a small thing where if the person you're playing with is shuffling their deck a lot, it's going to add that card back into their deck. So if someone's playing a Practice Makes Perfect, go for it. It also, I believe, was clarified that it can commit signature cards, so on the home front, baby.
Yeah, that's sick.
That is sick.
If you're playing with somebody who's playing yellow cards in it, they're probably drawing a lot of cards.
Yep.
All of the time, and you can put their deduction back on the bottom
That's
of their
really
deck
good.
Get it
Yeah,
again.
and you also get the deduction out of it. Yeah, really nice card. On to number 12, and I think at this point now, we've actually been in a while. Cards are here. I think there was only 3 skills that I was I don't really want to play that much.
There were a couple of them that I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Manual Dex 2. This is an innate developed skill, commits for 3 foot. Max 1 per skill test. If it's successful, draw a card. 2 instead if it exceeds by 2 or more.
Yeah, if you're green, you're probably making a foot test at some point, and you're probably passing it by a big number.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. Keimani loves this card. Winifred. Anyone who's using also Thieves' Tools, it goes up in value too.
Thieves' Tools.
Yeah.
If you're playing with Nimble.
Nimble. Yep. Yeah. Card's just good, but I think there's there's only specific decks I'm running manual decks in, so the idea of then upgrading manual decks is also a bit lower. But in those decks, the upgrade's very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's level 2, so Finn can play it.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to, but
he would though. I'd do it. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Played in a sharpshooter deck. Shoot with your foot. All that work.
Foot.
All right, on to number 11. We got Opportunist 2. This is an innate developed skill. Commits for a wild. Commit only to a skill test you're performing. If you succeed by 2 or more, return Opportunist to your hand after this test instead of discarding it.
Yeah, this one's just like the difference between succeeding by 3 and succeeding by 2. Succeeding by 2, you don't even need to be committing anything else to, necessarily. So you can just throw this to be like a little bit of security. Maybe I draw the -5 and I pass, but I'm probably hitting a -2 or a -3 and I'm putting this back in my hand.
Yeah. Great, like, honestly, like, kind of just disgusting in Winifred.
Just like a little bit.
Yeah.
It's okay. Green cards get to be good sometimes.
I mean, I don't tell Travis I said this, but I think on the ceiling, rogues can do much grosser things than seekers. Not that Opportunist is one of those things, mind you, but it is just like very efficient in Winifred and great card draw.
Yes.
I like it in Silas too. I played in Silas. I mean, I'll play it in someone who's using lockpicks, right? Like, it's like there's a reason for it. Keimani also seems like a good home for it too.
If you're playing any of the other cards that care about how much you succeed by, like
great home for it,
shotgun or any shotgun or your Keimani. You're playing cigarettes.
Lucky Cigarette Case, yeah.
Yeah, like if you got Lucky Cigarettes 3 or whatever it is, 3. I think.
Yeah, that card's so freaking good.
It's like kind of absurd how far into your deck you get to look with that sometimes. You're like, I'll fire up his lockpicks, I'll pass by 12.
Yeah, look, just like, draw the card you want.
Yeah, whatever.
Wild.
It's fair and balanced, I promise.
Do you search with that? Or do you just look? Because I have to find out.
I don't know.
I want to look right now, because I want to teamwork it to Mandy. if you can. Lucky Cigarette. I can't press the spacebar, though. Lucky Cigarette Case. Search the top X cards. Oh. I don't think that's worth it. Mandy's already good enough. She doesn't need more work. All right.
No, maybe that's next time that we feel like Grief and Travis. We play like a Carson Mandy pile. We're just like, oh no. Anyway, I don't care what you do.
Yeah. Let's go on to number 10, which is Daredevil 2. All the upgraded cards. Fortune Practice commits for a wild. After skill Daredevil to a skill test, reveal cards to the top of your deck until reveal a rogue skill you can commit to this test. Commit it, shuffle each other revealed card back into your deck.
Getting to shuffle all the cards back instead of having to draw the weaknesses or put the weaknesses back into your deck, depending on whether you're playing with the taboo list or not, is much, much better. And if you want this effect, you're going to want this upgrade like right away.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. I don't think there's much more to say for it, really.
Yeah.
It's just like more better of the first one.
Much more better.
Yep. On to number 9. We got Momentum. This is a 1 experience practice skill, commits for a wild. If this skill test is successful, reduce the difficulty of the next skill test you perform this phase by X, where X is the amount this skill test succeeds by, to a maximum of 3.
Yeah, what do you need to do? Doesn't matter. You're great at it.
Yeah.
You need to get away from a frozen in fear. Just like beat the snot out of somebody during your turn. It's all good.
Yep.
Run a huge investigation test with your lockpicks. Commit your momentum to it. End your turn.
Yeah.
Has 0 to close to 0.
There's also like a lot of like quiet stuff that's going on in the background with Momentum when you just kind of like pull the skin back a bit for like decks that it has a nice home in. If you're playing like, for example, Wendy Adams and you want to play the Tested Zero archetype, this just opens up so much more opportunities for that. If you're playing Keimani, you use this for your first evade and essentially can get +3 for your kill evade, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
I think like there's a lot of Momentum is one of those things where it's just like it's like an onion, you know, on the skill, like the front of you, like, hey, this is like a really cool card, but it actually has a lot of practical applications. Yeah, it's like an ogre. It's green like an ogre.
It's got layers.
Good card. It's very good.
Yeah. Very strong if you're playing a shotgun deck, because you can be like, I'll overcommit to my first attack so that it hurts you good, and then my second attack you're terrible. So
yeah,
all right,
that's fine. Yeah,
it's not the computer.
And then he says, this is the perfect Russ. This is actually perfect. If you could be like this all the time, I'm gonna buy you a Sunday. Yeah, great card. I love it. Obviously, as well, I know everyone's going to want me to say it. It's good in Amanda. But you know what? Amanda has all 2s, so she's bad.
She is just
So she's not going to get a good reduction on this.
So what? You pass by 0? Like, whatever.
Yeah. All right.
I don't get it.
Let's go to our number 8, which is Savant. This is a 1 experience innate developed skill. Commits for a wild. Savant gains wild icons equal to your lowest skill other than the skill being tested.
Yeah. If you play rogue, your lowest skill is usually brain. Don't play this in Preston. Preston's terrible.
Yeah, no. Preston is not a savant.
He's not a savant.
He's got silver spoon in his mouth from when he was born.
Yeah, no, he hasn't got good at anything.
Everyone called him a savant, but that's just because Daddy was rich.
It's because Dad's got money and they want some of that money.
You're so good at playing the piano, but I think you need a few more lessons. Yeah.
Twice a week, I think, instead of once.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just good. Like a lot of rogue stat lines are balanced around like having 1 in brain.
Yeah.
And then you've got 3s in your other numbers, so you can probably +4 this.
Yeah.
Even if you can't, +3 is still like just better than unexpected courage. This card is better than the upgraded unexpected courage.
Mm-hmm.
Just does the job more gooder.
Yeah. I mean, like Jenny as well loves the hell out of this card. You know, just gets 4 icons.
Yeah. Always.
It's really nice in her. Card's just like really good, and like you can use it defensively, you can use it offensively. If anything, like you need to like.
I mean, using it offensively is a little bit tough if you are actually a green investigator, because your lowest number is probably your brain.
Yes,
it's probably a 1.
I guess. But
if you're an off-class investigator, like, man, you could probably do just about anything with this.
I mean, Silas does get 3 symbols out of this. He does get 3
all the time.
Sit down.
Can't ever not get 3 though.
Good boy.
Unless circle undone.
Yeah. Cool card though. Very good. Very nice for the rogue class. And also this is the one that is the rogue part of the cycle of the practice skills. I think that like uses the different stat line for the card, like Dauntless Spirit, or I already forgot the name of the Guardian one, which just shows defensive stance. Yeah, that kind of that cycle.
Yeah.
On to our number 7, which is Watch This. Hey Travis, watch this. This is a gambit. Commits for a brain, a fist, and a foot. Commit only to a skill test you're performing as additional cost to commit Watch This. To a skill test, spend up to 3 resources. If you succeed by 1 or more, gain twice that many resources. This card is really good. It's super easy to hit now. Back in the day, like the reason, like the way you would normally want to consistently get high numbers with lockpicks, you couldn't do. But now there's a lot more tools that you can you can get to actually like use Watch This successfully. The fist is really easy. The foot is really easy. And you just like, it's a good way to just turn your 3 resources into 6 resources. Because it doesn't scale with the amount of resources you put in. It's still only 1. And that's very easy to do in a rogue now.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you needed to pass by 3? Travis would be so much more angry when we
did it. Yeah. And we just like, hey Travis, watch this. I'm gonna bet the house on this one. Yeah. We're gonna put everything on it. Russ, are you being good?
No.
He's being good long enough.
Yeah.
He knows that if he goes too soon. Russ, don't make me put you back in the timeout chair. Timeout chair. Great card. Love how back in the day it would just boil Travis's blood. And I'm curious if it still would today, because probably. On to our number 6. We got Quick Thinking. This is an innate skill. Commits for a wild. If this skill test is successful by 2 or more after it resolves, you may immediately take an action as if it was your turn. This action does not count towards the number of actions you can take each turn.
Yeah.
It's a staple.
It's just kind of good.
Good.
Like, it doesn't have to be your test.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of things that can be pretty easy about this.
Yeah. Oh,
what?
You want both of us to bet you? That's too much, Russ. That's too much. Yeah, I just play it in like most decks. Just good.
Yeah. It is like extra actions are good.
I've been on a run of not being able to pass by 2 though lately, so
yeah, that is true. Like every time I've seen you commit this lately, it's been like auto fail -5.
Yeah,
like, all right, let's go.
Okay. I mean, like...
Only up 4, hey?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I still pass sometimes. It's not the autofail, but it's just like, that's not why I'm playing the card. So, like, that's kind of like the downside is that, yeah, if it helps you pass the test, like, that's good, but you're also like, that's not kind of why it's here. But it doesn't make the card worse. Just makes your brain think the card is worse, but it's actually not. On to our top 5. We got Justify the Means. This is a 3 experience practice cursed skill. You may commit Justify the Means to any type of test. As an additional cost to commit Justify the Means to a skill test, add cursed tokens to the chaos bag equal to this test difficulty. This test automatically succeeds.
Yeah. So you just pick a thing and then you do it.
Yep. Funnily enough, I think this card is worse in cursed decks. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to have the cursed tokens to put into the bag.
Yeah.
Out of like the pool of 10 that you're allotted in order to pass the test.
Mm-hmm. And if you have 10 cursed tokens in there, it's not a guarantee you're going to draw them. You can still just somehow slowly trickle them out or like not even see them. But if you're not playing a curse deck, I think this is a really easy card to put in. I just think it's like kind of boring. And that's why I personally don't play it too much.
See pretty much everything that we've ever said about Stroke of Luck.
Yep.
Only this is like stronger and also better because it's in a class that struggles incredibly hard to pass certain kinds of tests.
Yeah.
As opposed to one that is just kind of okay at everything.
Yeah. 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 Cards like pretty damn good though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. For people who I don't know how this works, the test automatically succeeds, which I'm like 99% sure. You never know. There's always that fringe case where I'm going to just like get it completely wrong. But I'm pretty sure it reduces the difficulty of the test down to 0. So it would still trigger anything when you succeed by a certain number for it as well, which is relevant in the rogue class.
Commit your momentum.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Probably.
Yeah. Because like if you automatically evade someone, you're not taking there's a lot, but I'll put the house on that one. I'll watch that ruling.
Yeah.
On to number 4, we got Nimble. This is a level 0 innate skill, commits for a foot. So this is a level 0 that's in our top 4 with a lot of juicy things before it. For each point this skill test succeeds by after it resolves, you may immediately move to a connecting location to a maximum of 3 times.
3 moves is like a whole turn.
Yep.
That's like an entire turn.
Yep.
And all you had to do was pass a foot test. You probably wanted to try to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're green.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's like freaking wild when you move.
Well, no, it's only a foot.
That's true. But like, if you're able to move 3 times on this, and you wanted to move 3 times, you have just like, I'm not gonna say like 100%. You've probably just like won the scenario because of that. Like, if you get exactly what you want, the amount that saves on like the action that's the least action you want to take, right?
Yeah. Because
you kind of just have to move. It's very good. And it also like shines even more in certain situations. The second scenario of Forgotten Age, the climax of that one, it's like one of the best cards you can put in your deck for like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just really good. And you also like, you just do it on an evade action and then get the hell out of there. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, like it also doesn't require you to not be engaged with enemies.
Yep.
To take the moves. So you could just like evade one and then be like, cool, I brought the other guys over here.
Yep. Kill them, please.
Somebody fix this.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I remember when Nimble was first out, you kept like talking about how much of the truth it was, and after playing with it,
that card is so good.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Even if all you get to do is move once, it's like a shortcut, but it also helped you pass your test.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like when Scout Ahead got revealed, I thought that Scout Ahead would be like the new... I'd be like, oh, Nimble was so good, Scout Ahead's going to be like that too. And it's still good, but like... Anytime you can advance the game state while passing a test you want to pass, it just goes up even higher because of that.
Yep. Yeah, and like getting to move 3 times. Like if that doesn't put you where you want to be, you're probably climbing stairs or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Or on a train.
Or on a train.
Yeah.
Or somewhere that you aren't actually allowed to move more than once.
Yeah. Or on Edge of the Earth where the maps are just ginormous anyway, but it's really good on Edge of the Earth too.
Yeah, if the maps are really big and the 3 movement isn't enough, it's still an extra turn's worth of thing.
Yeah.
So,
and also like because Rogue have gotten like the ability, like stuff with like thieves' tools, just also now you can grab the last clue and just get the hell out of there.
Oh yeah.
Even just like a moving one, like saving a move, if it like it's versatile too, so you can use when you want to use it. It's great. It's also innate. I should try this in Silas. I don't think I've done that yet.
Play this in Silas, like committed to an evade on your fishing net. Pick up the fishing net to return it to your hand.
Yeah,
like move like 6 times. Like,
that's a lot of power.
That's a lot of movement.
Yep, that's a lot of movement. On to our number 3, our top 3. We got All In. This is a 5-cost Fortune card. Commits for 2 wilds. Max 1 committed per skill test. If this test is successful, draw 1 card for each point you succeeded by to a maximum of 5. Shuffle each weakness drawn by this effect back into your deck without resolving it.
Yeah.
So
like the pool we're into now are the ones that have been tabooed to read differently or function
because they're so damn good.
Because they were too good.
Yeah.
This one now, like on the taboo list, says that you remove it from the game after the test ends, which is fair because with this card, like 2 of these, you can kind of just like go through your deck. You're just like, oh no, like it's sweet, but even removing it from the game, it's still very, very strong. 5 cards is a lot of cards, and while succeeding by 5 is maybe a little bit more than you needed to, the 5 cards, like even if it's 3 cards, still really good.
When we get to our number 1 card, I have to just, I'm saying this right now to remind myself, but there's something I want to talk about, and it includes All In once we get to our number 1 card.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like they're only like kind of good together.
Yeah, only kind of good together. So when we get there, but yeah, All In's really good, but I'm going to have more to say there.
Yeah.
Travis once played it illegally in a Finn Edwards deck.
Oh, man, it was so good, though.
But the card is like really good. It's a very good card.
Turns out if you break the rules, you can do some really strong things. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah. On to our number 2, and we're continuing the trend here. We got 3 aces. This is a 1 experience fortune practice skill. Commits for a wild. It's myriad. If you commit 3 copies of 3 aces to a skill test, this test automatically succeeds. Do not reveal chaos tokens to the chaos bag. Then draw 3 cards and gain 3 resources, max once per test.
I'm not even sure how you'd make it happen more than once per test, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I like how that was their that was their security blanket for this one, which is just like they can only do it once per test. So I know some people would say that this card was tabooed because of Mandy, but I think also if you just remove Mandy and look back at the card we talked about previously, Lucky Cigarette Case 3 and like Lockpicks, this card is incredibly easy to put together.
It's not hard to find them like every turn.
Yeah. And then like, whew.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's like basically doing they're replacing every version of the aces and just giving you more money on top of it.
No, that this card is very, very strong. It now also, like the previous one, says that you remove it from the game after the test ends because, it's not that hard to put it back together again.
No. And I mean,
like the Pendant of Onyx.
Yes, very easy to.
They thought that might be like a real cost. It is not.
It is not. It's very easy to assemble it, and like the payoff for them is both very good. I think that them like removing themselves from the games, I think are like probably should have been there at the beginning, but damn. I love how there's though. I mean, like I know like the wilds on there. People are gonna say it's so you can commit it to the test. They didn't need to add that rule, but I also like the wild on there because it might like. It's like a little devil on your shoulder, being like, "Hey, you should commit this."
You can, if yeah, sure. It could be like.
Get your butthole off camera.
No, but it's only cats. So like, sure, though, the wild could be replaced with you may commit this to any kind of test rules text, but I think this is just cleaner.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, 100%. It also is practice, so like practice makes perfect is another way to dig it out. Like Trish would just like lockpicks, freaking get Lola Santiago in there, get a Lucky Cigarette Case 3, get a practice makes perfect. You could do this like every few turns.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Oh, Russ, I almost fell off the table. And our number one, the only card that has ever been deleted from the game. Rogue is still the only class that gets this honor.
Actually just has one less card than everybody else.
Yeah. We got double or nothing. This is a fortune skill, commits for a wild. Max 1 committed per skill test. Double the difficulty of the skill test. If this skill test is successful, resolve the effects of the successful test twice. I think that this card is still actually super fair if you play it without trying to break it. You know, like when we first played this game, the first time we double or nothing, you did it as Jenny to basically double a vicious blow, but you had to put so many resources into it. And like, that's cool. But you also can just do disgusting things with it.
Yeah, like maybe if you commit a double or nothing and an all-in to the same test, and then you commit, like, your justify the means, and you're just like, oh no, anyway.
Another one, too, is the parallel skids can do a test at 0 each turn. So you just do double or nothing with an all-in and a nimble, and you can, like, move 6 times.
Draw 10 cards.
Draw 10 cards. It's kind of disgusting, the things that you can do. And it's like...
I get it.
Yeah. Like,
I don't like it.
Yeah. I like, we'll still, like, probably one day play, like, just without a taboo list, just for fun. But I also do... I understand why it was just removed, because I think any alterations of the card wouldn't be enough, right? Or like they would kill like the idea of the card.
Yeah, especially if they want to keep giving green, you just succeed.
Yeah.
As like a part of their color pool. Then, yeah, maybe this card is too good.
I think that the thing that I would love, we talked about this previously, if we could change taboos, I would love it to come back, but only be able to be used by criminals. I think that could be fun, because then they're allowed to cheat because they're criminals. They're allowed to do the broken stuff. But it does kind of feel like a big accomplishment for the rogues that they got the only card that's been forbidden, and it's because that they like, you can like cheat with the card in a way to like abuse the card beyond comprehension of the designers, which feels like very rogue flavor.
I mean, like when this came out in Dunwich, there was also a whole lot less that could be done with it.
Yep, definitely.
Right. Like, I mean, even if you were committing it to it like a upgraded deduction test or whatever, it was kind of like, yeah, this is good, but you got to work for it.
Yeah.
But these days, you don't have to work for shit.
You don't.
You just show up and you're like, cash, please, or whatever.
Cash, cards, move.
Yeah, like, give me all the things.
Yeah, just to give it all, please. I want
like,
it all.
I bet 3 money on this. Watch this. Like,
oh my god! And then you also just get like 12 money.
Yeah, like. Like, don't worry about it, it's okay.
Yeah, and it's all these small things, but you might be saying at home like, but why? But that sounds like a lot of cards to put together, and it is, but you also have the strongest card to consistently search your deck in the game in this class, which is Lockpicks 3. Sorry, not Lockpicks 3, Lucky Cigarette Case 3.
Is like,
but it's part of the puzzle.
But it's also not, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, great skills in the rogue class, though. That's what Bryn and I learned doing this video. There's a lot of cool... Russ, you can't go there. Don't go back. Go back to the timeout chair. Or pet. Yeah, there's a lot of cool rogue skills. And we only have 1 class left. And I did check there are enough skills that we can do it in a video. We can do that. We can do the Mystics in one. Because they have, I think, like...
Okay, I thought you were talking about neutral, and I was like, what do you mean there's... Like,
of
course
like
there's enough. They got, like, 10 or whatever. Like...
I mean, we could do...
Guardian had 12.
If people want us to see the neutral ones, well, I'll do it too. We'll ruffle some feathers on that one, for
Guts
sure.
is the best.
Guts is really good. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. In the meantime, have a good one. And as always, GG's.